Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and almost exactly 1 month ago I put out a video making this stuff. This is methylcellulose. It's a paste that I made just from some food grade methylcellulose that I bought off of Amazon. And the reason that I made it and I made that video is because this is about the only substitute that I know of that is almost exactly the same as Elmer's art paste, which they don't make it anymore. If you're in a school situation where you've got a lot of kids and you're worried about your kids' paper mache items going moldy before they get them home, or if you live in a really humid environment where it's almost impossible to get anything dry fast enough, you would want to use something like Elmer's art paste because mold doesn't eat it at all. But since they don't make it anymore, you can use this instead because Elmer's art paste was made out of methylcellulose. Now, a lot of people ask me why I didn't just go ahead and recommend wallpaper paste, because the kind of wallpaper paste that they were using happened to have methylcellulose in it. And that is true for some kinds, but evidently there's a whole bunch of different kinds. But if you like wallpaper paste, sure, why not? Go ahead and use it. A lot of people who use methylcellulose for other projects other than paper mache kind of chimed in with some ideas. You might want to go back and look through those comments if you'd like to. I'll put a link to the original video down below so you can go see what people had to say. A lot of people mentioned that you have to mix it up with hot water. And I use cold water. If you watched that video, you saw me do it. And you can't mix it up by hand with cold water. I had to use this thing. Evidently, if you use hot water, that would go a lot easier. But there were a couple of comments that made me just a little bit nervous, and that's why I'm doing a follow-up video about this. And they said that it would only be thick, especially if you mix it up with cold water like I did, right in the beginning, then it would stick. But it could be that if you use it again, it'll seem as though your pieces are sticking, but they're really not. They'll just kind of fall off when they dry. And that made me really nervous. I used this originally on my jackrabbit right after I made it, of course, and he's doing just fine. There's no question at all about him coming apart. But this had been on the shelf for a month. And I told people, go ahead and just keep it because it'll last forever. And so it was sitting over there. It looked exactly the same as it did when I first put it there. So I just poured a little bit into a bowl. And I used some newspaper strips and put it on the back of my old cat mask. And that is true. They just, as soon as they dry, they come off. When they're wet, of course, you get paper wet, it'll stick to anything without any paste on it at all. So evidently that was what was happening, but don't go away yet because there is a way to fix that, and it was really, really easy. Even though this is clear and you can't tell just by looking at it, evidently the solids that are inside of the methylcellulose paste had floated down and were around the bottom of the jar. So, and I found out that that was true just by coming back and mixing it up a little bit like this. And then I wanted to make absolutely sure that it was really gonna stick the next time. So I used white paper this time to make sure that I was looking at the new spot. And it is just, it's fine. It's on there just as solid as it is on the rabbit. I can't get it off. Actually, it's on there good. So if you bought some methylcellulose after watching that video and you leave it on the shelf like I told you to do because it really will last forever, then when you go to use it again, as soon as you just mix it up a little bit, then it's going to be sticky again. But if you just pour the thin part off the top, it's just like water and it won't work at all. So that's what I wanted to make sure that you guys know. Because otherwise you'll be thinking, wait, that doesn't work, but it does. It works really good. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of time to do something a little bit more fun for our next video, so watch for that. And in the meantime, go make something and come back and visit me, UltimatePaperMache.com. I'll see you there.